Okay, in this tutorial we're going to be covering layers, and what I've done here is I have my photograph behind on the background layer. Notice that it's locked, so it means I can't actually change that layer specifically. But I also have these 4 rectangles on different layers, and to help you get some understanding on what a layer is, we're going to use the move tool just like we did in the first lesson to show you how layers interact with each other. So let's go ahead and select a layer. Rectangle 4 here is actually my yellow layer, and watch what happens here when I move this. Oh, see how it's on top of the red? And then watch what I can do with the green layer, and notice how the yellow is on the top here, and then comes green. So watch what will happen. Oh, it's on top of the red, but it's below the yellow, just like it is here. Yellow's on top, then comes green, then comes red, and guess where blue's going to go? Blue's going to be underneath all of them, just like it is in this layer setup over here. So pay attention to your layers panel and what is on top of other layers, and also which layer you have selected. So if we wanted to move the red layer, you'd grab the red layer and you come here and you move it out. But if you wanted to move it back in, you could do that. Or if you wanted to move the green layer, grab rectangle 3 and move it about. Now here's another cool thing about layers, is you have a whole nother subset of things that you can do within the layer itself while not affecting anything else. So let's say we wanted to put a drop shadow just on the green layer. All you have to do is double click on that layer, come over here and hit drop shadow, move this window over, and let's go into the drop shadow menu. And now we're going to play with the distance, spread, and size. So let's do the distance. Oh, you can see it start to move out. And then we're going to do spread, which is going to make it a little bit bigger. And then the size. And we're going to turn the opacity down and hit OK. Okay, so now no matter where we put this, we're going to have a drop shadow. So if we move the blue rectangle over, voila, we have a drop shadow covering this blue rectangle. And if we bring the yellow on top, notice there won't be a drop shadow on the yellow because green is underneath yellow. So you have a lot of other options. If you double click a layer, you can play with all these different options here. And notice that if we were to click this little box right here on our layer, we can change the color. So watch this yellow box right here. Pink, red, blue, green, you name it. We can change it just by clicking this little thing here. On top of that, guess what else we can do? We can take these eyeball icons and we can turn the visibility of these layers off. Now, like I said before, if you save this as a PSD file, you can turn these layers on and off every single time you open the file, and if you save it out, you can save multiple JPEGs. So if I wanted to save an image without this green layer, I could go and save it, but I could also have the PSD file with this layer just hidden like this. So I could turn it back on. Let's say, no, I don't want the red box. So I just turn this off in the PSD file, and then I go File, Save As, and I save it as a JPEG. But I always have this layer back in my PSD file if I ever need to come back to it. So layers has a lot of power to it, especially with these little eyeballs here. Also, if you ever want to make sure that a layer is never messed with, you can just select a layer and hit this little lock icon, and no one will be able to change anything. But if you turn the lock icon off, it's fully editable. And remember, I put a drop shadow on this bright green layer. This little FX here stands for effects, and that means that I have an effective drop shadow on this layer. So you'll always be able to know which of your layers have an effect by this FX label there. And you can toggle this here if you don't want to look at all of it. And that's pretty much it for the crash course on layers. And if you want to watch the next tutorial we're going to be covering this paintbrush over here to give you some ideas of what that's capable of.